Okay, this is going to be next to impossible to film, but I'm going to try. So, we need 2 cups baking soda, 1 cup cornstarch, and then 1 1/4 cup cool water. First we mix the 2 powders together. Now the directions say to add all these and then bring to a medium heat. So I'm going to try based on what it says. So I'm first going to put the powders in, then turn it on, and then start adding the water. Now, in case you're not a baker like myself, I'm not a baker. Something to keep in mind when you're combining ingredients. If it says 1 cup of a liquid and 1 cup of a powder, use a measuring cup like this for the powder and a measuring cup like this for the liquid, because they're a little different. I suppose. Alright, so now I'm going to pour into the center of it. I can't stir with my left hand. I can barely stir with my right. Add the water. I'm going a little slower than probably most people would. I lied. Okay, the instructions say to stir until mixed well over medium heat, which in my case I'm going with like a 5. I don't know if, I'm sure stoves are different, so just letting you know what I'm going with, because mine goes from power boil down to high, then to 6. So I'm going to assume that 5 is medium and power boil is a 10. It says to mix for 5 to 7 minutes. Let me show you. See that? It's very watery and liquidous. And it says to mix for 5 to 7 minutes until it starts getting a little golden brown. And then after it starts going golden brown, you mix for another 2 to 3 minutes. And then you transfer it into a glass bowl, which I have my glass bowl here. Transfer it into the glass bowl and cover it with a damp cloth. So, I'm not going to record the next 10 minutes of me stirring. I'll show you once it's in the bowl. Okay, cool. So now it's doing its bubbling. You can see that. And it's beginning to kind of solidify. And it's becoming a little more difficult to stir. So, let's see if you can see that again. Alright. To be continued. Okay, so it's cooled. And this was the same problem I had last time. Some of it was a little dry, or seemed dry. But gotta make it work because I'm not starting over. Just be warned that it might end up a little dry. It may not. It all depends. Like I said, this is my second time doing it. So now that I've knit, whatever the word is, now that it's been, okay, so whatever. I'm gonna use two small dowels that I have in my craft box to give me the thickness that I wanna roll this out to. It's gonna take me a little bit because I also don't want it to crack too much. They did say that if it's too wet, to add some cornstarch. Clearly mine is not too wet because of those little cracks that are happening. I'm also putting it on parchment. You don't have to put it on parchment. But yeah. You don't want it too thin, you don't want it too thick. If it's too thick, it will crack. If it's too thin, it will not stay together either. Let's see if I can get that to stay. Put that over here. Again, not a baker, so I just want this stick to stay within the length of my roller so that I can get the thickness to be the right thickness, even. Get the thickness even. So I'm taking all those little pieces off so that it doesn't create more dents. Alright, so now I've got it about the same thickness throughout. Again, if you don't want cracks, then work on it a little more. I have a bunch of ornaments. Cookie cutters. I've got stars. I've got ornament shape. This is a snowflake, not a star. This is a star. I've got a little stocking, a bow, a heart, a deer, another ornament, and of course a circle that can be an ornament. I'm going to create a few more snowflakes and maybe an ornament. So let's see. Actually, before I do that, I'm using toppers from decanters. So you see it's got neat little etchings. And this has, I don't know if you can see it in focus. It's got like a star type shape. Anyway, you can roll it across your dough. Let's see what this one will. And it just sort of gives your dough a little interest. So that when you cut it out, you've got shapes in it, which I think is kind of cool. So. Alright, now I'm going to use the snowflake and figure out what pattern I actually like. And I'll cut it out. Gently get it out. Knead again, roll out again, and cut more shapes. Now before these harden too much, I'm taking the dowel that's a little crusted and making holes for them to be actual ornaments. Just go slowly. And carefully. And bring it together. See how this one kind of split a little? Bring it back together so that it dries as one piece. You can use a chopstick or a straw. I may end up having to use glue for those because they're kind of delicate. I mean, I guess technically I could put a hole here, but that would be a little weird. Can you see the little hole?